Are you ready to take your business to the next level? Every day there are countless books and articles that are published offering the key on how to make your business a success. It's easy to feel overwhelmed trying to keep up and run your business. That's why Deb Creer created the Business Power Hour. Keep up on the latest trends, best practices, and techniques for how to make your business a success. Let the Business Power Hour do the heavy work for you.
Good morning. Good morning. I am Deb Creer, and I am passionate about giving professionals the tools that they need to make themselves and their businesses as successful as possible. And I am so delighted to be talking to my guest today. I actually know her in the real world. And just, it was one of those things where neither of us knew really what the other one did because we sit on a board and you don't talk about those things. And then when I discovered what she did, I thought, oh my gosh, we absolutely have to chat. And so please welcome Missy Kelly to our program today. Welcome, Missy. How are you?
I'm wonderful. Thank you so much for having me. I'm honored to be here, Deb.
Yeah, we are going to have a great conversation. So let me tell folks just a little bit about you, and then we will jump into this because this is going to be absolutely fascinating discussion today. So Missy Kelly is the co-founder and CEO of CatTongue Grips. Got to say that slowly. A global leader in non-abrasive, non-slip safety solutions trusted by the U.S. Navy, major retailers, and industrial markets worldwide. After scaling her company from a home garage to a multi-million-dollar enterprise, Missy realized that sustainable success requires more than strategy. It requires alignment. Today, through her transformational brand, Born for Impact, she empowers women to reset their identity, trust their intuition, and create lives and businesses rooted in clarity, confidence, and purpose. Her signature event, Unlock Your 2.0, helps participants rediscover clarity, confidence, and the courage to lead their next chapter with purpose. Her next event is coming up on December 19th, and the link to that will be provided in the notes. As I mentioned, Missy and I know each other in the real world. We are both honored to serve on the Dean's Advisory Board for the University of Colorado's College of Arts and Sciences. And oh my gosh, it is fascinating just to be on that board. But that's not what we're here to talk about today. So again, Missy, welcome.
Thank you so much. Excited to be here and dive in with you.
I know. Well, I always like to know from my guests how it is that you got to where you are today. So tell us a little bit more about that.
Of course. Well, as you mentioned, I am the co-founder and CEO of CatTongue Grips. And for me, entrepreneurship was not something that I went after.
Mm-hmm.
It was truly something that fell into my lap.
Mm-hmm.
When my husband, Matt, he walked into a cell phone store
Mm-hmm.
back in 2015 to
Mm-hmm.
upgrade his phone.
Mm-hmm.
And he just noticed how slippery the back of the phone
Right.
was.
How many
And
times do we drop those darn things?
exactly. So he made a comment to the salesperson, and she tried to sell him insurance.
Of
And not
course.
wanting that other bill, the
Mm-hmm.
light bulb went off.
Mm-hmm.
And he went to a nearby skateboard store,
Mm-hmm.
cut out skateboards, scratchy, the
Mm-hmm.
sandpapery, grip tape,
Mm-hmm.
and put it on the back of his phone.
Ah,
Later on, I said to him, "What do you have going on here?
yes.
This feels like a cat tongue,
Mm-hmm.
and it's going to scratch every surface of the
Mm-hmm.
house. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you can't have it." So he challenged me to
Mm-hmm.
find something like it, being the shopper in
Ah.
the family,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and I couldn't. And so we decided to make it.
Ah.
We sourced a manufacturer,
Mm-hmm.
and it took about a year and a half,
Mm-hmm.
9 prototypes later, when we at last had our material.
Mm-hmm.
And for us, that material had to have several key properties.
Mm-hmm.
It had to, first and foremost, feel good in the hands.
Mm-hmm.
It had to be grippy,
Mm-hmm.
not sticky. So it didn't
Right.
pick up
Yeah,
like
you didn't want
the
to with your phone,
like
right?
sand or all the weird stuff that could dirt,
Mm-hmm.
whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And we also wanted to create a sustainable product
Right.
for the environment.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So we launched our first product, which was a phone grip, in
Mm-hmm.
November of 2017.
Mm-hmm.
And then we did a larger one
Mm-hmm.
for laptops and tablets.
Mm-hmm.
But the interesting thing was that customers started reaching out saying,
Ah.
hey, can I
Mm-hmm.
use this on slippery tools?
Mm-hmm.
Can I use this under furniture?
Mm-hmm.
One woman I remember writing in said her son has atraxia and he uses hearing aids.
Mm-hmm.
And could she cut the product and use on hearing aids?
Mm.
And that's when
Wow.
we decided to put the product on a
Mm-hmm.
roll.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
then the customer could decide
Right.
how they
Right.
wanted to use
Cut
the
off what you
product.
need.
Caught up what you
Mm-hmm.
need and for what
Mm-hmm.
purpose.
Mm-hmm.
So that was how we got started.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was at an event and I met an incredible gentleman. His
Mm-hmm.
name is Chris Waddell. He
Mm-hmm.
is a Paralympian.
Mm-hmm.
He has summited Kilimanjaro with a hand cycle.
Oh.
And I
Mm-hmm.
remember being at this event with him,
Mm-hmm.
and he said to me, stuff falls off my lap all day, every day, being
Right.
in a
Mm-hmm.
wheelchair.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, I could really use your products. So
Mm.
I sent
Mm-hmm.
him a tablet grip, a
Mm-hmm.
laptop
Mm-hmm.
grip, phone grip, as well as the new product,
Mm-hmm.
the grip tape.
Mm-hmm.
And then checked in with them 2 weeks later.
Mm-hmm.
And he said to me, Missy, you've created a life hack for the adoptive
Oh, I
community.
love it.
He is
Mm-hmm.
now able to put his phone in the car
Mm-hmm.
without fearing it's going to fall between the seats
Mm-hmm.
because that's problematic for
Mm-hmm.
him. He put it on his wheelchair foot plates,
Mm.
and for the first time, he was able to wear socks around the home without
Mm-hmm.
the skateboard stuff
Mm-hmm.
scratching it up, but
Mm-hmm.
also not being fearful that his foot would slide off because
Right.
that's
Mm-hmm.
problematic for
Mm-hmm.
him. So that truly became a greater mission
Mm-hmm.
for
Right.
me
Mm-hmm.
and the company
Mm-hmm.
to help millions of
Mm-hmm.
people in their day-to-day
Mm-hmm.
living with our
Mm-hmm.
products around the
Mm-hmm.
world.
I love it. I love it. And it was funny because when I was researching this, I thought, oh, uh-oh, must order, must order. Because yeah, it's how many times, like you mentioned tools. You're hammering and you're really hammering, and whoop, there goes the hammer, right? you
Mhm.
know? Or obviously the phone, things like that. But it's funny, I was building a ramp for my cats to get from one place to another, right? And my husband thought, hey, we want it to be pretty. So he varnished it. Well, what pretty did was make it really, really slick.
Oh my,
And
yes.
right. And so the cats, now they could jump the whole thing, but and so my solution were the stickies that you would use in the bathtub, and it works, but it's not the best solution. It's certainly not pretty. Now, it's not ducks or anything like that. It's just this, but yeah. And I thought, how can we do this better for the cat? So yeah, placing an order so I can do this
There's
for the
plenty of
cats.
customers that do use them on the jungle
Yeah.
gym. I
Oh
mean, that's the
yeah.
beautiful
Hmm.
thing. And what we've really
Hmm.
done is we're a customer driven
Hmm.
company.
Hmm. Right.
Everything that we have
Hmm.
innovated from during
Hmm.
COVID, we made the product
Hmm.
antimicrobial by
Hmm.
putting a silver nitrate in the
Hmm.
manufacturing process. We've innovated new
Hmm.
colors besides the clear and
Hmm.
black, a glow in the dark
Hmm.
for our customers that need to have illumination at
Right.
night.
Yeah.
It's
Maybe it's
been
stairs, right? That you're going up and down in the dark.
100%
Hmm.
stairs, rails. It's the product's
Hmm.
fully waterproof.
Hmm.
You can use it in showers,
Hmm.
shower grab bars.
Hmm.
We have quite a few
Hmm.
customers, and especially for me, with
Hmm.
my parents being in their
Hmm.
mid 80s, that for our aging
Hmm.
population who
Right.
want to stay in
Hmm.
their homes longer
Hmm.
and be
Hmm.
more independent,
Hmm.
our
Right.
product certainly does
Hmm.
help that and keep
Hmm.
them safer.
Hmm. Right. Yeah, because obviously falls are one of the biggest fears that you have with a senior or somebody who maybe has limited
100%.
mobility or is just klutzy.
Yeah.
And yeah, so and of course I think one of the big ones is stairs going into a garage because those are usually not carpeted, and and it might be just one or two steps, but if you are older and you tumble one or two steps, it could
Well,
be
that's
a
the end
life
of
or
your
death situation.
independence.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or the
Yeah.
end of
Hmm.
independence,
Right.
where now you aren't able to live
Hmm. Hmm.
independently. That's when you need to
Hmm.
go into a
Right.
facility
Hmm. Hmm.
or move in with
Right. Hmm.
your son or
Yes.
daughter.
Hmm. Hmm.
But that is something in my case, I had a brand new pair flat shoes. And I was going down the stairs in my home and
Mm-hmm.
I slipped, ate it,
Right. Mm-hmm.
went down the stairs, and
Mm-hmm.
that's when I cut out,
Mm-hmm.
a
Mm-hmm.
2 inch
Right.
piece of
Mm-hmm.
our gription
Mm-hmm.
material, threw it on the
Mm-hmm.
bottom of my shoes, and
Right.
that solved that problem right
Yeah.
away.
Oh yeah. Oh
So
yeah. Especially
even for
women's.
myself, I
Yeah.
learned.
Yeah. Women's dress shoes, right? Because
Oh,
they
yeah.
don't. It's not like they have tread. And how many times have we put them on and then gone and found concrete and gone squishy, 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 right? To kind of score the bottom so that then we're not going, head over or head over tails down something.
So many different uses,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what started for us was being right on the
Mm-hmm.
Amazon and the wholesale
Mm-hmm.
retail. Like
Mm-hmm.
we're on Ace, Do It
Mm-hmm.
Best, Lowe's, Home
Mm-hmm.
Depot.
Mm-hmm.
But then larger corporations started reaching out to
Right.
us
Mm-hmm.
and incorporating the
Mm-hmm.
product in
Mm-hmm.
safety for their facilities
Mm-hmm.
and for their
Right.
people.
Right.
And then for us, it became a natural leap from there
Mm-hmm.
to go into the
Mm-hmm.
working with the U.S. government.
Right.
So
Right.
it's definitely been
Mm-hmm.
a topsy turvy,
Mm-hmm.
up and down entrepreneurial
Mm-hmm.
journey, but just an amazing, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm just grateful for it
Mm-hmm.
every day.
Right. I love it. And we will have a link to your website on in the show notes. But folks, go and check it out because there are going to be so many things that when you see the picture, you're like, oh yeah, well that makes sense. And so and promise I'm not no affiliate link, nothing, um, but yeah, it really is one of those things that when I was looking through, I thought, holy cow, that's a really great idea.
Well, thank you. And that's when, I live in the mountains of Park City,
Hmm.
Utah,
Right.
and
So
I
it's slick
have.
there anyway. Hmm.
Oh, yeah. And
Hmm.
I have two kids,
Hmm.
and I serve in my community
Hmm.
and with you and I
Hmm.
serving at CU.
Hmm.
And I always had people saying, how do you keep it all
Hmm.
together?
Right.
Like, how are you able to do all
Hmm.
these different
Hmm.
things and run the company, grow the
Right.
company?
Hmm.
And it really is that it's no secret.
Hmm.
It's really
Hmm.
just tending to and taking care of my mindset
Hmm.
every
Right.
single
Hmm.
day.
Hmm.
And that's been something
Hmm.
for me that as I've become more visible
Hmm.
in leading this company,
Hmm.
I thought to myself, how can I help others
Hmm.
live their best life
Hmm.
at any age?
Right.
Be
Hmm.
healthy in their
Hmm.
wealth, their
Hmm.
relationships, launching a business,
Hmm.
and finding
Hmm.
that courage
Hmm.
to step out
Hmm.
and release the doubt, release all the
Hmm.
things that hold us back.
Oh yes,
Because
those
guess
little
what?
voices. Hmm.
It's us.
Hmm.
It's
Hmm.
only us. We are our own worst critic.
Hmm.
We are the only
Hmm.
ones holding
Hmm.
ourselves back from stepping into our
Right.
dreams.
Right. So that led you earlier this year to launching Born for Impact. So
It
tell us
did.
more about
Yeah.
that.
Well, for years, I've been working with business owners, really just in
Hmm.
masterminds.
Hmm.
I've led mastermind for business owners for a
Hmm.
couple of years. And then it was, how can I do this on more of a broader
Hmm.
scale for
Hmm.
people that really don't have access
Hmm.
for the more selective
Right.
masterminds? So that's when I decided to launch a masterclass
Hmm.
of I called it Unlock Your
Hmm.
2.0. It's
Hmm.
really about mindset tools
Hmm.
that help us
Hmm.
uncover what it is. What are those
Hmm.
limiting beliefs that are holding us back?
Hmm.
We all have them.
Hmm.
That's part of the
Hmm.
human experience,
Hmm.
and they're never going to go
Hmm.
away. But how can we just turn down the volume
Right.
of,
Hmm.
as you mentioned, those voices in the
Hmm.
head that
Hmm.
either tell us, why you?
Hmm.
Why would you ever think you could do that?
Right.
Or, and the answer to that is
Hmm.
why not you?
Hmm.
But we
Hmm.
definitely have that duality
Hmm.
in our head.
Hmm.
And it's really learning how to turn down the
Hmm.
volume of that.
Right. And your business, CatTongue Grips, is kind of a masculine, let's just say, but it obviously it applies to everybody, but it would be something where you would think a man would found that more than a woman. And you've been very fortunate that your husband is your other
Yeah.
business partner. But have you found that people push back and maybe even
Oh,
say,
yeah.
honey, we need to talk to your husband.
Oh,
How do you get
Deb,
past all of that?
more times
Hmm.
than I can tell you,
Hmm.
especially in the beginning,
Hmm.
because my husband was working two jobs,
Hmm.
and for me, I dove right into cat tongue
Hmm.
grips, and
Hmm.
I had to get over my own lack of confidence
Okay.
of really
Hmm.
understanding that yes,
Hmm.
my voice has value
Hmm.
and I deserve a seat at this
Hmm.
table.
Right.
And it was in the beginning so interesting. If we were in a meeting,
Hmm.
they would turn to him, usually a man,
Hmm.
and it would say,
Hmm.
asking him the question. And
Hmm.
Matt would simply say, well, look, she's the decision maker.
Right. Yeah.
And
You need to be
already
talking to Missy. Hmm.
and then I noticed, and even
Hmm.
in for myself, I would have a wall up with that
Hmm.
individual, right?
Hmm.
And it's understanding that we all just come
Hmm.
from our own place,
Hmm. Right.
right? Our own
Hmm.
our own childhoods, our
Hmm.
own upbringings, living in this world
Hmm.
today.
Hmm.
That and having that fire
Hmm.
in the beginning, it
Hmm.
was really to prove myself,
Hmm.
and not only
Hmm.
it was
Hmm.
more prove myself
Hmm.
to myself
Hmm.
and not to others.
Right.
And then now in working with the government, I mean,
Hmm.
I'll be at a trade show and
Hmm.
it's literally me and
Whole
pretty
bunch
much
of dudes.
maybe about 999
Hmm.
other women
Hmm.
and 30,000 men,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
And it's fun.
Hmm.
And now there is I'm just me.
Hmm.
I believe in the product. I
Hmm.
believe in our vision,
Hmm.
and it doesn't
Hmm.
occur as much that
Hmm.
discomfort
Hmm.
of being a
Hmm.
woman in a man's world,
Hmm.
but it's definitely there's a real bias out there.
Hmm.
And I
Hmm.
think again, it comes down to our own mindset and our own belief
Hmm.
in our
Hmm.
worth and our vision
Hmm.
to overcome those limiting beliefs.
Hmm. Hmm. Right. So, what do when women come to you, and men also, right? But when women come to you, because that's who you want to talk to, and say, Missy, I have this great idea, but, and then all those little voices are there, see, I'm not smart enough, I'm not good enough, I'm not. How do you work with someone to get them past that?
Well, first of all, I mean, it's got to be a viable idea,
Hmm.
right?
Right,
Like,
right. Hmm.
is there a need in the market,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
Is there enough to
Hmm.
differentiate
Hmm.
yourself
Hmm.
from all the other players
Right.
out there?
Hmm.
But it's also about vision. So
Hmm.
what I created is what's called the impact matrix.
Mm.
That is
Hmm.
my own
Okay.
mindset
Hmm.
framework. And that I starts with the intention and the vision.
Ah.
So when you
Hmm.
look at that vision,
Hmm.
that's
Hmm.
your North Star.
Hmm.
That's what's going to get you out of
Hmm.
bed when life's throwing you
Hmm.
curveballs, because let's be honest, business is not easy.
Hmm.
So having that vision, that
Hmm.
North Star,
Hmm.
that's guiding the
Hmm.
direction you want to go.
Hmm.
And for us, it started right with the phone grip and,
Hmm.
helping
Right.
people
Right.
not drop their
Hmm.
phones. Where then in meeting Chris
Hmm.
Waddell, as I mentioned, and really seeing the potential
Hmm.
of this product to serve
Hmm.
more than what
Hmm.
I could have ever have dreamed. I mean,
Right.
what started
Hmm.
as a phone grip
Hmm.
is now helping millions in their
Hmm.
day-to-day living,
Hmm.
preventing slips,
Hmm.
trips, falls,
Hmm.
items, as we talked about. So, it's okay for the vision to change. And
Right.
I do
Hmm.
feel the more I worked on myself,
Hmm.
the more the vision was able
Hmm.
to expand
Hmm.
as well.
Right.
So that is that I.
Hmm.
That's that I in the
Hmm.
vision. The M being the mindset
Hmm.
around the vision.
Yeah, you
So when you
can
look
do it. Hmm.
and really understanding what are our limiting beliefs,
Okay.
right?
And why?
Is
Where in
it
the
a,
heck did they come from? Hmm.
right? Is it I believe there's two different types of
Hmm.
personalities. There's one of an abundant personality.
Hmm.
We're really looking
Hmm.
at potential, looking at failure
Mhm.
as moving forward, looking at it's almost like the
Mhm.
glass half full,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
Where there's the scarcity
Mhm.
personality, the
Right.
person living in scarcity,
Mhm.
which is more of the victim mentality,
Mhm.
really looking at why is this
Mhm.
happening to me,
Mhm.
rather, why is this happening for me?
Right.
So that's where the mindset, I
Mhm.
think that that's really that
Mhm.
soil that we
Mhm.
need to tend to.
Mhm.
And it's a daily practice. It's not
Right.
something you could read a book or
Mhm.
take a class
Mhm.
or just uh, you know, turn
Mhm.
on a switch and
Yeah.
mindset's
Poof.
great because I
Yeah. Mhm.
life is always
Mhm.
going to challenge us
Mhm.
and provide tests
Mhm.
for us to
Mhm.
be how are we going to
Mhm.
respond to
Mhm.
this challenge
Mhm.
rather than how we're going to react
Right.
to it.
Mhm. Right. And I think the thing is, and I've talked about this on the program before, so much of that is started when we're very young.
Oh
And
yeah.
whether it's a parent or a teacher or somebody like that, and most of the time they're doing it out of care, right? Because they
Hmm.
don't want us hurt. But I remember when I was in school. Now I am at the tail end of baby boomers. And so I remember my counselor, my high school counselor, when I told her what I wanted to do, she was like, but girls don't do that.
Mm.
And I looked at her and I thought, but I also knew
Love it.
she was not going to support me. That was just, I was going to have to do it on my own. And luckily my mother said, what do you want to do? And she, she didn't push me away from anything. But yeah, my counselor, I mean, that was a very long time ago. And I still remember sitting in her office and I told her I wanted to be a defense attorney. I don't know why.
Mm.
This was before all the television programs, and and actually most of the role models would have been men. The Perry Masons, the people like that. I told people it was because I like to argue. Um, but yeah, she really did. My counselor said girls don't do that, and she made it really clear she was not, because she was out of concern for me. She would not help me in that direction. And and but there was a part of me that thought, that little voice that kept saying maybe she's right. Maybe she's right. Now, obviously, I did not go into law school. Part of me thought, well, that's a heck of a lot of education. And the really funny thing is, I actually have 2 advanced degrees, so I have more than what I'd have if I'd gone for a JD. But I think that's the thing that we all need to remember when we're dealing with kids is, what are we saying to them?
Well, and
Even when
it's
we're
not
trying to
only with
protect them.
kids.
Mhm.
It's not only with
Anybody.
kids. I mean, that's
Mhm.
what you have to think too. And you asked about having an idea,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
I mean, I remember in the beginning,
Mhm.
it was and it's not, it's out of
Mhm.
love, like you
Mhm.
mentioned,
Right. Mhm.
but it was really, you're going to
Mhm.
dump your savings into this
Mhm.
phone thing?
Mhm.
Is
Yeah.
that really
Mhm.
what you want to
Right.
do?
Right.
And I remember even along the way, people would be, how's that
Mhm.
phone thing going?
Yeah. How's that
And there's not
little?
like,
How many was that
how's
little?
that
How's
phone
that
thing
little
going? You
phone thing
know, like
going?
your
Mhm.
mom, your,
Mhm.
like
Right.
yeah, in
Mhm.
that circle. And
Mhm.
it wasn't meant
Mhm.
to be condescending.
Right. Mhm.
But when you are talking about your own dreams,
Mhm.
aspirations,
Mhm.
and visions,
Mhm.
that the people we love
Mhm.
can sometimes be those
Mhm.
that actually tear us
Mhm.
down and keep
Mhm.
us down.
Right. Right. And let's be honest, sometimes it's the tone, right?
Hmm.
Really? That's what you want to do? You can question it and have that question mark that's in there. Really? That's what you want to do? Or really? That's what you want to do? Right? Same exact words,
Yeah,
100%
exactly.
different,
Isn't that
right?
amazing? Yes.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
hmm
And that is
hmm
something that I think that I know Sarah Blakely talks about that
hmm
with
hmm
Spanx, that everyone thought she was crazy
hmm
when she was wanting to cut off the bottom of pantyhose, like
Yeah.
in and trying
hmm
to find men to
hmm
prototype it,
hmm
thinking you're crazy.
Right.
But guess what?
hmm
It is the crazy
hmm
amongst us
hmm
that make the biggest
Right.
impact
Oh,
because
definitely.
it's
hmm
truly having that
hmm
courage to
hmm
go after your
hmm
dreams. And
Right.
if you're not going to take the risk
hmm
on yourself,
hmm
how are others going to take
Right.
the risk on
Hmm.
you?
Hmm. Right. Yeah. And that self-talk,
Hmm.
it's funny. I was speaking on an earlier podcast earlier this year with someone about women in leadership roles. And I looked this quote up, and it's, obviously still applicable here. It's a quote that was initially written by Erin Hansen, Erin, the female Erin, because right, Erin's one of those names. Um, and and we hear the end of it, but we don't often hear the beginning of it. And so I want to do the entire quote. And it says, "There is freedom waiting for you on the breezes of the sky. And you ask, what if I fall? Oh, but my darling, what if you fly?"
I
Right.
love
I
that.
love that. Every time I
Hmm.
see that, that is just, but I've never heard the first two sentences. But yeah, it's how can we encourage ourselves? Because as you said, if we don't think we can do it, doesn't matter how much encouragement we get, it's not going to happen.
Well, there's another quote, one of
Mhm.
mine, and I've seen that one
Mhm.
for
Mhm.
sure. That courage isn't the absence of fear.
Yes.
It's taking the next step
Mhm. Mhm.
despite the fear.
Right.
I mean,
Mhm.
fear is always going to be there,
Right.
right?
Which
But it's, I
it
mean,
should be, it
it
because it
should
helps
be.
us be cautious and all of those things.
But it's also
Mhm.
sometimes that
Mhm.
fire, those
Mhm.
butterflies in
Mhm.
your belly,
Mhm.
that's not necessarily your body trying to stop you.
Right. Could
That
be
could be
excitement.
your biology
Mhm.
trying to tell you, keep going
Yes.
here.
Yes.
Right.
Mhm.
And fear and
Mhm.
excitement,
Mhm.
they're really
Mhm.
two edges of the same
Right.
coin.
Mhm. Right.
It's just,
Right.
what are we going to do? Are
Mhm.
we going to use
Mhm.
excitement
Mhm.
to take those next
Mhm.
steps and lead us
Mhm.
forward, or we take use the
Mhm.
fear
Mhm.
to hold us back
Mhm.
and keep us
Right.
stuck in the same
Right.
place?
So what's next after M for mindset?
Oh, there we go. Nice. It's P for purpose.
Mhm.
So, and purpose is really that fire. And we were just talking about
Mhm.
that fire in your
Mhm.
belly. What is the why?
Mhm.
Why am I doing this?
Right.
Why am I risking? Why am I growing?
Mhm.
Why am I keep taking these
Mhm.
steps forward?
Mhm.
It's that purpose. And I
Mhm.
think that values
Mhm.
are a big driver of
Mhm.
our purpose
Mhm.
as well. And then we go to the A, which
Mhm.
is inspired action,
Mhm.
which we just talked about with courage. It's
Mhm.
taking the next step
Mhm.
despite the fear.
Mhm.
I feel that action is that spark of
Mhm.
inspiration, right? You have the spark to call that friend you haven't talked
Mhm.
to in a long
Mhm.
time. You pick up the phone. I was just thinking about you,
Right.
right?
Right.
It's
Mhm.
all in a moment,
Mhm.
and I feel that it's that action
Mhm.
is what is driving us. And
Mhm.
I feel that for me
Mhm.
and growing our business
Mhm.
to where it is today,
Mhm.
it's taking that
Mhm.
action
Mhm.
despite the fear,
Right.
despite what others may
Mhm.
think,
Mhm.
and really listening to that
Mhm.
intuition
Mhm.
of what's next for
Mhm.
me. And
Mhm.
is this in alignment
Mhm.
with my purpose, my
Mhm.
values? And if so,
Mhm.
taking that next
Mhm.
step.
Right. Right. Let's see. So that was IMPA. C.
B is conviction.
Mhm. Mhm.
Conviction is that belief.
Mhm.
That is that
Mhm.
all knowing.
Mhm.
And I feel that conviction starts first with belief in
Mhm.
ourselves,
Mhm.
belief in what we're doing.
Right.
I
Mhm.
know for me, it was with Cat Tongue Grips, is
Mhm.
belief that we truly have something
Mhm.
that can help people in their day-to-day living.
Mhm.
So it's actually doing a disservice
Mhm.
not letting people know about it.
Mhm.
Right. And then
Right.
even
Mhm.
when life throws those curveballs, the business throws those
Mhm.
curveballs at us, what we would
Mhm.
consider as obstacles,
Mhm.
it's really looking at that belief, it tying in, right, to the
Mhm.
why,
Mhm.
tying back to
Mhm.
that vision and
Mhm.
just believing in myself,
Mhm.
even when others
Mhm.
aren't going to do it
Right.
for you.
right, right. So what's the T, the final letter?
I think T is the hardest.
Okay.
That's the one that I think that, and all of these are happening every day. Again, it's not a
Right.
mastery.
Hmm.
It's
Yeah, it's
really
not
like
you do this, then you do
levers.
this, that nah,
Exactly.
hmm
No, the T
hmm
is that trust,
hmm
that true trust
hmm
that I'm on the right path,
hmm
that these goals,
hmm
dreams, desires wouldn't
hmm
be on my
hmm
heart if I wasn't meant to
hmm
manifest them.
hmm
And that trust in my mission,
hmm
trust in what I'm here
hmm
to do. And knowing that I liken it,
hmm
it's almost like walking in the
hmm
fog, right? You can
hmm
see a few feet in front of
hmm
you. You know what's in front of you,
hmm
and you have to trust
hmm
that what's beyond
hmm
is just as
hmm
amazing and
hmm
fantastic of what's in
Right.
front of you,
hmm
despite the
hmm
obstacles that may
hmm
be trying to tell you
hmm
otherwise. That's just appearances, right? And
hmm
it's whether we choose to look at those appearances as obstacles that stop us
hmm
or problems to be
hmm
solved.
Right, right. Well, I'm curious, you know, it sounds like everything has been fabulous and it has, but what happened when you
Yep.
had obstacles? What were some of the things that you went, okay, what
Yeah.
are we going to learn from this?
I think that we've mentioned that
Hmm
entrepreneurship
hmm
is a topsy-turvy
hmm
business,
hmm
is
hmm
a journey unto itself,
hmm
right? And I would say we've had quite a few along the way.
hmm
Um, I mean, I in the even before we started Cat
hmm
Tongue Grips, we invested a lot of money
hmm
into a focus group to just
Ah,
see if this product was
yeah. Is this
viable.
even make sense? Hmm
Does this before we are going to really throw
hmm
down all of our
hmm
savings into this business?
hmm
Do we have a viable
hmm
product? And the good thing was
hmm
that yes, they loved
hmm
the
hmm
product. What was interesting is they hated the logo.
Ah,
So that was something like, oh,
so did
okay.
you redo?
What?
Let's see. So I'm looking on the website.
Yeah.
Um,
So this is a funny story in
right.
itself. So you can kind of
hmm
see that logo right
Right.
there is
It's a
the
cat.
red.
Cat's head.
It's a cat head, but
Hmm
it's also a tongue.
hmm
It's a dual.
hmm
And what we initially had was what we now lovingly refer to as the scary kitty.
Uh-oh. Yeah,
And
we don't
there,
want scary kitty. No, no. Hmm
well, what was interesting is it had like this cat with this tongue.
hmm
And, remember that the product was born from skateboard grip tape,
Right.
right?
hmm
And my husband had grown up on the beaches of San
hmm
Diego in
hmm
that skater surfer culture.
hmm
So that was kind of the tone
Okay.
that we were
Uh-huh.
initially going
So
with.
edgy.
And
Hmm
yeah,
hmm
edgy, exactly. And what was so fascinating was, I mean, we did focus group was, well, I mean, we spent $30,000
hmm
on a
hmm
focus group, professionally run, flew to
Wow.
Chicago.
hmm
Yeah,
Not just,
without
hey,
even a
friends,
bio.
come over and have a beer and we'll talk about this.
No, no, but we had three groups. We
Hmm
had a group of more of the millennial, like
hmm
the 25 to
hmm
35,
hmm
and then we had professional
hmm
35 to like 45,
hmm
and then we had a little bit of the
More
older group,
mature.
more midlife, we'd like to say, which I am
hmm
myself now a part
hmm
of. And the interesting thing was all of them loved the product. So
hmm
that was a thread.
hmm hmm
However, all of them hated the logo. And
Hmm.
so, but when you've been developing something, and this is
Right.
another lesson, you
hmm
get attached to
Right. It's your
things,
baby.
right?
Hmm
It's your baby.
hmm
So it took some
hmm
convincing on my part to
hmm
really say to our team, look,
hmm
we are hearing loud and
hmm
clear. Public does not like this
hmm
logo. And yet we are launching the product in a few weeks. So
Yikes.
it was go
Hmm
back, then find us
hmm
another logo. You
hmm
basically have 5 days, Missy.
hmm
So what I did was and many of your listeners might be familiar. It's called 99 Designs,
hmm
where it is, I believe you go on and it's a contest of sorts where
Huh.
then they source all of their designers to
hmm
come up with a
hmm
logo, and then they get
Oh, how
paid
fun is
by
that?
the
Yeah.
company.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you put a description of what you
Mm-hmm.
want, and I was getting all sorts of crazy Hello Kitty
Uh-huh.
style.
Yeah, cute. Mm-hmm.
Still not there. And
Mm-hmm.
I remember it's because the contest or the time frame was 48 hours, and
Mm-hmm.
it was about that 46 hour where this guy did come
Right.
across,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and I looked at it
Mm-hmm.
and I just knew. And
Mm-hmm.
that's when I called my
Mm-hmm.
husband into the den.
Mm-hmm.
I said, "Look," and he's like, "You
That's
did it.
it.
You
Mm-hmm.
got it."
Mm-hmm.
And that was before we even
Mm-hmm.
started. So
Mm-hmm.
having an obstacle
Mm-hmm.
of we're launching, here it's going, but not letting that
Mm-hmm.
obstacle stand
Right.
in the way, but
Yeah, because you could have
figuring
said
out
we
a
have to
way around
stop
it.
everything. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
exactly. So that's one example, but
Mm-hmm.
there's been many
Mm-hmm.
along the way. And, again, it comes to that
Mm-hmm.
mindset is how do you look at
Mm-hmm.
obstacles?
Mm-hmm.
Are they truly a wall
Mm-hmm.
in your way,
Mm-hmm.
or is the way to go
Right.
around, under,
Yeah.
over,
Sometimes it's
sometimes
through.
break through
Mm-hmm.
it?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. And so it's really not letting
Mm-hmm.
that no
Mm-hmm.
stop you. And
Mm-hmm.
that's in developing a
Mm-hmm.
product, that's in selling of a
Right.
product, that's in innovating a
Mm-hmm.
product. I'd say our glow in the dark
Mm-hmm.
is another example
Mm-hmm.
that I had the
Mm-hmm.
inspiration
Mm-hmm.
that we need a glow in the
Mm-hmm.
dark product. I'd been hearing, we'd been
Mm-hmm.
listening to the
Mm-hmm.
customers,
Mm-hmm.
and having this idea
Mm-hmm.
and then going to the manufacturing
Mm-hmm.
process. And it was challenging. It took
Mm-hmm.
about 7 8 iterations,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of no's.
Mm-hmm.
Really, Missy, is this what you
Mm-hmm.
want to do? I
Mm-hmm.
just kept feeling into
Mm-hmm.
my intuition that
Mm-hmm.
yes, this is a
Right.
product
Mm-hmm.
that I feel strongly
Mm-hmm.
about.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's an incredible product, not only
Mm-hmm.
for our B2B
Mm-hmm.
customers and safety, but also for our aging in place
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
customers that help them get around their homes in the
Mm-hmm.
evening at night.
Right. I love it. I love it. And of course, that one of the biggest no's is, well, that already exists. Well, there is no absolute brand new product. I think everything is kind of out there in some iteration. And so the idea is how to make what you do unique.
And better.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And so yeah, it's not just the sticky stuff that you put on the floor of showers. It's, how can you do all of these other things with it? And of course you mentioned waterproof. And that's kind of a duh when you think, well, the Navy is one of your biggest clients. But how many times it's really not an issue wherever it is until something gets wet. Maybe it's the stairs, of your deck. 99% of the time it's perfectly fine. But that one time when it has rained or you've got a little snow, whoop, down you go, right? All of those various things. And so I love that you're continually evolving. How many times have we
If
seen
you have
companies
to.
fail? Yeah, they have their one product. We've made $1 bazillion on it. Why would we want to change it? Well, yeah.
Well, I think that again comes down to personal values.
Mm-hmm,
And one of
mm-hmm,
mine is growth,
right.
right?
Mm-hmm,
And if I'm not growing and learning every
mm-hmm,
day, putting myself out
mm-hmm,
there, getting
mm-hmm,
uncomfortable, then I'm not growing. And I
mm-hmm,
think that that's something
mm-hmm,
in having a product driven
mm-hmm,
company or even a
mm-hmm,
service
mm-hmm,
company. How can we get better?
right.
How is
Mm-hmm,
this we can serve our
mm-hmm,
customers and or
mm-hmm,
clients in a new way,
mm-hmm,
a better way? Because I
right.
think that there's always
Mm-hmm,
room to
mm-hmm.
improve.
Right. And it's not that you're saying that wasn't good. It's just now we're going to improve and change. I think probably one
How
of the
can we make
biggest
it better?
one of the
Even
biggest examples.
ourselves as
Yeah.
human beings,
Yeah.
right?
Oh
How
yeah.
can we
Yeah.
get
How can we
better?
change and grow? And when you look at, say, a company like Walmart, right? During COVID, we all, they switched everything to self-serve, when, self-checkout lines, right? And so
Hmm.
there are all the memes through there. Where's my holiday party? All of those things. But and obviously it was less expensive because they didn't have to hire the people to do it. And Target is doing this also, where they're saying, okay, but people don't like checking their own stuff, and they like the interaction of talking with that employee. And so they're saying, okay, we have heard you, and we're going to go back to having checkout, and you can still do it on your own if that's what you want. But yeah, and so in the long run, it serves better. And so the person who said, yeah, but it's going to cost more, No, because you're going to get more
Well,
people back in.
well, you speak to that. Even
Mhm,
Starbucks is an
mhm.
example
Right.
that, it used to be that coffee shops were where people would go to do work if they work
Hmm.
from home, to
Right.
have that
Hmm.
community of people
Right.
around them.
Because
It
maybe,
was a
yeah, yeah.
gathering place.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
then through COVID, it went
Hmm.
to more of that self-serve.
Hmm.
We order online, we
Hmm.
pick it up.
Hmm.
Sometimes there
You
was just
leave.
one person,
Hmm.
you walk
Hmm.
by, and as a company, they had a lot of pushback
Hmm.
on that.
Hmm.
And now you will see with the
Hmm.
new
Hmm.
CEO
Hmm.
coming in and really going back to
Hmm.
that root of
Hmm.
community.
Right. Right. And a lot of the things that happened during COVID, people embraced and we're still doing. But I think it's exactly what you mentioned. It's that community that we want back to. I was talking to somebody the other day. Since COVID, I have been to 4 networking events and 2 conferences. That's it. And I used to
Oh,
go
wow.
several, yeah, I used to go several times
I've
a
been to a
week.
lot.
Right. Oh yeah. I mean, I went, and of course, it was the great Southern food down here was one of the reasons, right? But and I tell people, so I did those 4 in the 2 conferences, and one of those conferences I got COVID at, right? Um, and I do a lot of my networking online, but I miss seeing people in person.
Well, I think that the pendulum has
Hmm.
definitely
Hmm.
been moving
Hmm.
toward back to
Right.
community.
Hmm.
I see that because I'm
Hmm.
out a lot,
Hmm.
either speaking at events,
Hmm.
attending
Hmm.
events, and I really see that that back to
Hmm.
community,
Hmm.
even in-person
Right.
meetings.
Hmm.
There's no
Hmm.
substitute
Right.
for
Hmm.
that transfer of
Hmm.
energy,
Hmm.
human to human,
Hmm.
person to person.
Hmm.
I mean, Zoom is phenomenal,
Hmm.
and I think that that
Hmm.
is really
Hmm.
had changed the
Hmm.
landscape of
Right.
how we do
Hmm.
business coming
Hmm.
out of
Hmm.
COVID. But there's room for both,
Hmm.
for sure.
Right. Right. Well, I mentioned, at the start that you and I both serve on a board at University of Colorado. It meets twice a year. And when it launched, it was during COVID. So everybody
Hmm.
attended remotely, right? And it's and for you and I, because you live in Utah, I live in Atlanta, it is a
Hmm.
challenge to go back for the meetings because it's farm, the meeting lasts an entire day. And so you need to, it's a 2 or 3 day thing when you go.
Yeah, 2 nights
Yeah,
definitely, or one
yeah.
night.
Oh yeah, at least and just the extra expense of flying and hotel and all of that. And it's one of those things where you and I have both still attended remotely, and for an eight
It's
hour Zoom.
painful being on Zoom.
Oh, for eight
Hours.
hours, right? And the funny thing is, you're up on the big screen, right? So
Oh
you're not
yeah,
this little tiny person. You're 8 feet
yeah,
tall. And
exactly.
but it is something where when I can, I go in person. And I have found that like the conversations during lunch or back at the table where you're getting another donut, those are sometimes the absolute best thing that happened the entire time.
Well, that's how I ended up here speaking with you today,
Yes,
right?
yeah.
Is
You and I were
having
like,
that connection.
yeah,
And you
mm-hmm,
said,
mm-hmm,
I'd love to have you on my podcast.
mm-hmm,
I said, I'd love
right,
to be on it.
yeah,
So
yeah, mm-hmm,
it's those
mm-hmm,
opportunities
mm-hmm,
that come out
mm-hmm,
of that person to
right,
person
mm-hmm,
connection. And I'm a firm believer
mm-hmm,
too, and this has definitely helped me to get to where I am
mm-hmm,
today, is saying yes. In
mm-hmm,
the beginning, it was
mm-hmm,
always yes. Now I
mm-hmm,
have more of a discerning yes.
right, yeah.
And I
And
think
it's okay
COVID.
to say no. Mm-hmm,
Yes. And I
mm-hmm,
think, and having those boundaries,
mm-hmm,
and I think
mm-hmm,
COVID was really good for
mm-hmm,
me in that
mm-hmm,
aspect of, is this a
mm-hmm,
yes that, um, is it a hell yes?
mm-hmm,
Excuse me, if
right,
I'm
right,
able to say that
mm-hmm,
word,
mm-hmm,
but, and that's what I look at
mm-hmm,
now is this a heck
mm-hmm,
yeah?
right,
Because it's, our time is
mm-hmm,
valuable, our energy is
mm-hmm,
valuable.
right,
And to your point,
mm-hmm,
we have to have
mm-hmm,
boundaries over
mm-hmm,
around those
right,
yeses
mm-hmm,
and be
mm-hmm.
okay to say no.
Right. Yeah, and I think that's and I talk with people a lot about this. I think especially for women, our default is to say yes, and we think people will think less of
Yes.
us if we say no.
Well, I that is something that I have definitely
Hmm.
found in working with
Hmm.
the amount of women. I do
Right.
work with
Hmm.
men, but I'd say
Hmm.
predominantly it's women that are attracted to
Hmm.
my message and what I'm building.
Hmm.
And with that is as women, we give a
Hmm.
lot of ourselves.
Hmm.
We give a
Right.
lot to our families,
Mhm.
our
Mhm.
partners, our children,
Mhm.
our
Mhm.
animals, our
Mhm.
community. And at the end of the day, it's, is there enough left for
Mhm.
me? So
Right.
for I have a saying that self it's important to be selfish. And I
Yes.
don't mean
Mhm.
selfish, it's all about me. It's
Mhm.
self ish
Right.
is if
Mhm.
I don't come first
Mhm.
in my world
Mhm.
in
Right.
prioritizing my own needs.
Mhm.
Do I need to rest
Mhm.
today? Is it full
Mhm.
throttle?
Mhm.
Do I really need
Mhm.
to pull back on some
Mhm.
social engagements
Mhm.
because I've been,
Mhm.
just doing too much?
Mhm.
It's really owning
Mhm.
my own self
Right.
care because that's
Mhm.
definitely another
Mhm.
part of the mindset
Mhm.
piece is really being
Mhm.
able
Mhm.
to recognize
Mhm.
when you are leaking
Mhm.
energy and to be able to
Right.
just stop it.
Right. I tell people the best example is the airplane, right? They tell you
Hmm.
put your mask on first before you try to
Yep.
help someone else.
And is that selfish? Being
No.
like, it's
Hmm.
about me, it's
Hmm.
entitled or
Hmm.
whatever?
Hmm.
No,
Yeah.
no. It's about
Hmm.
taking care of you first so
Hmm.
you can take care of others
Right.
and show up
Hmm.
the best
Hmm.
version of
Right.
yourself,
Hmm.
being
Hmm.
present,
Right.
being in the
Hmm.
moment, not
Hmm.
having a conversation
Hmm.
and thinking about
Hmm.
all the things you need to do because your
Hmm.
intention list is too long.
Right. Yeah. If you are tired, if you are cranky, if you are whatever, you are not going to provide the best help.
Right.
Right.
Yep. And that just goes back
Hmm.
to how can we show up
Hmm.
as our best
Hmm.
selves every
Hmm.
day? And sometimes it's just giving enough for that day.
Right.
And that's
Hmm.
okay. It's
Hmm.
not doing too much. It's not doing too little. It's what is what
Hmm.
I'm able to
Hmm.
give today.
Hmm.
And I know sometimes even in my day, it can be a 12-hour day and I'm
Hmm.
thriving and it's fun
Hmm.
and or it's, you know what? I need
Hmm.
to get my dogs out in nature.
Hmm.
I'm not feeling
Hmm.
grounded. I'm not
Hmm.
feeling I'm showing up right. What
Hmm.
can I do to serve me
Right.
today?
Right. I want to talk about another word that you mentioned, and I think it's so important. It's in the word is intuition. And I'm going to
Ah,
read
yeah.
a quote that you have on your website. The most important business tool you have is your intuition. Trust it, follow it, and let it guide your impact. And I love that. And now my first thought is I think women rely on intuition more than men. I think sometimes, and that's a total stereotype. I think men tend to just jump, right? I'm going to do this, and we're like, I don't know, or oh yeah, like you said, those butterflies. Oh, those butterflies are good. So talk to us more about intuition and just why it's so important.
Yeah, oh gosh. That could be
I know a
a whole
thing,
hour
right?
in itself. But it really when we speak to intuition and you
Mm-hmm,
spoke being the men,
mm-hmm,
women, which we
mm-hmm,
can refer to also as the
mm-hmm,
masculine,
mm-hmm.
feminine, we
Yes.
both
Mm-hmm,
have this within us,
mm-hmm,
right?
mm-hmm,
We both have this duality of
mm-hmm,
masculine and feminine. And if we are balanced
mm-hmm,
humans, that is
mm-hmm,
in harmony within us,
mm-hmm.
right?
Right.
And so I know, like for me in my day to day, I have to be really in my
Mm-hmm,
masculine.
mm-hmm,
I have to be making decisions. I have to
mm-hmm,
be running my
mm-hmm.
teams. I have to
Right.
be out there at
Mm-hmm,
shows, all of these different
mm-hmm,
things. So that's why it's super important for
mm-hmm,
me to do those things that balance that,
mm-hmm,
that, as we could say, that feminine side.
mm-hmm,
For me, that's my meditation
mm-hmm,
practice. Getting up every
mm-hmm,
morning and being very non negotiable
mm-hmm.
about centering myself for the day,
Okay.
having a
Mm-hmm,
morning ritual.
mm-hmm,
It doesn't matter to me if you have a morning ritual of 5 minutes
mm-hmm,
or you have one of 2 hours.
mm-hmm,
What is it that's going to
mm-hmm,
center you
mm-hmm,
for the day so you can get
mm-hmm,
still and really tap into that
mm-hmm,
intuition when it's
mm-hmm.
calling to you.
Right.
So that I think as
Mm-hmm,
intuition to me
mm-hmm,
is like a muscle.
mm-hmm,
The more we flex it,
mm-hmm,
the more we
mm-hmm,
trust it, the more it's going
mm-hmm,
to guide us. So in the beginning, that could feel like
mm-hmm,
fear,
mm-hmm.
right? Oh,
Right.
this
Mm-hmm,
is this I'm going to take this leap.
mm-hmm,
And then
mm-hmm,
the path
mm-hmm.
opens,
Right.
right? And the more we flex this
Mm-hmm,
muscle of
mm-hmm,
intuition, trusting
mm-hmm,
ourselves when maybe
mm-hmm,
people around you
mm-hmm,
are looking at you like you're
mm-hmm,
crazy, right?
mm-hmm,
And then it works out,
mm-hmm,
then continuing
mm-hmm.
to trust it. And
Right.
I'm in a phase of my life where intuition is part of that guiding North
Mm-hmm,
Star that helps me make
mm-hmm,
decisions in my day to day.
mm-hmm,
And when I'm feeling a lot of the noise of the
Mhm.
world around me, that's when I know I need to get quiet.
Mhm.
I need to go out in
Mhm.
nature. I need to
Mhm.
go on a walk,
Right.
whatever it
Mhm.
is that allows
Mhm.
you to get into a
Mhm.
place where the noise
Mhm.
quiets. That's
Right.
when you can
Mhm.
really be able to
Mhm.
listen to that intuition and, more importantly, hear it.
Right. And I'm going to say that it is always right. We might choose to ignore it, but I think your intuition is always right. That first instinct, that first whatever. I
I
remember years
agree.
ago, I had a potential client. Now, this could have been huge. I mean, what he was proposing was something that could have turned into a very large contract for us, all sorts of things. I met with him, and my gut instinct, right? Maybe the same thing as intuition was, eh. Now, it wasn't that he was creepy or anything like that. And folks, that you pay attention to those, especially women. If you're thinking new, yeah, pay attention to that feeling. But it was just there was something there.
Hmm.
And it was a negative. I mean, because we've all had the, oh my gosh, I will move heaven and earth to work with this person, right? That intuition. But I had this thing with him that I thought there's just something there. And I couldn't put my finger on it. And then he ended up as part of this process, of because he'd gone to several firms, right? He was doing his due diligence. That was very good. But as part of that, he asked me to do something that was very unethical. And it wasn't that he was testing to see if I would do it. He was unethical.
Wow.
And
Hmm.
and I went, oh no, and when I told him no, he was angry, and because I was his pick.
Hmm.
And I told him, I said, no, what you asked me to do goes against everything I know. And he kept pushing. I don't understand why. This is what I want. And I said, well, I'm sorry, but I'm not going to work with you. And his business didn't last a year because that whole thing just carried through. Did I turn down a lot of money? Yes. I mean, but money is not the most important thing. I would have been in a situation where it could have gone south, and it was my reputation that would have been on the line. And so yeah, follow that gut instinct, that intuition. Like I said, maybe it's saying, I will do whatever to work with this person. Or maybe this logo isn't really what we should be doing, but this one really is. Those first, like we talk about first impression when you meet someone. It's kind of the same thing, right? What is that first initial gut, heart, soul, mind, whatever? It's going to be right.
That's happened to me more times than I
Mm-hmm.
can count.
Mm-hmm.
And people who wanted to work with us or do business with us, and
Mm-hmm.
having it's that to your point,
Mm-hmm.
it's that first
Mm-hmm.
initial feeling,
Mm-hmm.
trusting that, but
Mm-hmm.
then the money,
Mm-hmm.
the team
Mm-hmm.
saying, yes, this is the
Right.
new stuff,
Mm-hmm.
all these
Mm-hmm.
blinders and
Mm-hmm.
layers
Mm-hmm.
start coming
Mm-hmm.
in front of us.
Mm-hmm.
But what was that first initial, if you
Mm-hmm.
think about it like the
Mm-hmm.
heart of the onion,
Mm-hmm.
that first
Right.
heartbeat
Mm-hmm.
feeling?
Mm-hmm.
What was
Mm-hmm.
that? And it has
Mm-hmm.
always steered me
Mm-hmm.
in the
Right.
right direction.
Right. And there are many times where it could seem like it's the wrong thing, but when we really look it over, it's like, yep, that was right.
And I like to you touch on that as well. I
Mm-hmm.
would say even the decisions
Mm-hmm.
that you think are
Mm-hmm.
mistakes,
Mm-hmm.
in hindsight,
Mm-hmm.
they were just leading you to something better.
Right. Yeah. Review
And
it.
that
Why did you think it was going to be a mistake?
it goes to that life is
Mm-hmm.
happening for us,
Mm-hmm.
not to us.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
and it's usually a little bit of
Mm-hmm.
hindsight, a little bit of space
Mm-hmm.
from the initial
Mm-hmm.
incident that or challenge
Mm-hmm.
that you can really
Mm-hmm.
see, ah,
Mm-hmm.
okay, I see the
Right.
bigger picture here.
Right. Yeah, and maybe it's that you need to pivot, or whatever it is. But yeah, analyze that, and okay, well, this really was, how can we change that? I keep going back to your logo, right? You thought it was great. Your husband thought it was great. Nobody else thought it was great.
We're
And
attached to the scary
yeah,
kitty, and now
yeah.
I love. We still have. I still have it
I was
on
going
a
to say, do you
wall
still
there
have Scary
because
Kitty somewhere?
and
Hmm.
that's definitely
Hmm.
also is that
Hmm.
we can get in our own
Hmm.
way,
Yes.
thinking
Hmm.
our way's the
Hmm.
highway, our ideas,
Hmm.
the right idea.
Hmm.
And that's actually
Hmm.
serves as a reminder
Hmm.
to me, even in my leadership,
Hmm.
that I may think my way
Hmm.
is the best,
Hmm.
but there are if I
Hmm.
didn't listen to our
Hmm.
team and the ideas being
Hmm.
brought to
Hmm.
me and knowing that I'm not a
Hmm.
lone wolf, this is a
Hmm.
collaboration,
Hmm.
then we wouldn't be where we are
Hmm.
today either.
Right,
And I
right.
do think the scary kitty is a reminder of that.
Hmm. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, oh my gosh, we have had such a great discussion, and we're close to the top of the hour. I'm going to have you talk about everything that you do, but most importantly, talk about your signature event, Unlock Your 2.0, and tell us what people would learn in it.
Yeah, so it's happening December 9th, and it is a free
Right.
event.
And it's ongoing,
And
right? It's not just the one time you have it.
well, this is ongoing.
Okay.
And for this event, I do a 3 day, more of a deep
Okay.
dive, which will
Okay.
be happening in
Hmm.
January.
Hmm.
So this is more of an intro to
Okay.
that,
Okay.
where it's really about unlocking your 2.0.
Hmm.
I believe we all have a future self
Hmm.
that
Hmm.
calls to us, right? Of who we are becoming.
Hmm.
And we spoke about the mindset,
Hmm.
the limiting beliefs,
Hmm.
the identities sometimes
Hmm.
we get stuck in
hmm
that occur from either childhood or programming,
hmm
whatever that is. And it's really an opportunity
hmm
to rewire your mind
hmm
and learn how to take that aligned
Right.
action.
Right.
So yeah, I hope your
Okay.
readers will join me.
Great. Great. So is
It's
it
a
online or in person
it
or?
is online,
Okay.
yeah, happening
Hmm.
on December 9th.
Hmm.
And we don't have all of the promo
Hmm.
out quite yet because I know, but by the time
Hmm.
this airs, it will
Yep.
be all
Yep.
out.
Hmm.
And that what I
Hmm.
do through Born for
Hmm.
Impact is I have these 1 day
Hmm.
come and learn.
Hmm.
I have the 3 day deep dive, and then I
Hmm.
actually have a 12
Hmm.
week
Hmm.
where we really dive in
Wow.
to
Hmm.
the impact
Hmm.
matrix and really
Hmm.
unlock every
Hmm.
component to the framework,
Hmm.
and that's an option
Hmm.
too. So
I love it. Well, and we will have the link to your website, Born for Impact, which is actually your personal website. And so folks will find
missykelly.com.
that there.
Yeah.
And as I said, we'll have the link to Cat Tongue Grips. Look it over, folks. See if there's something there that would solve problems for you. But just kind of I always want to know, you know, if it, as we're wrapping things up, and you've done a lot, and I love that it's so inspirational.
Thank you.
But are there any final thoughts that you would like to leave with everyone?
Well, I think it really just comes down to my own belief that we are all born for impact, no matter how great or how small. It's really up to you the impact you want to make in your life and the world around you. And I believe that we're just given this opportunity every day to start new, to start fresh. What is that saying? Is yesterday is the no. It's really about being on the present. My mind's not letting me
That
go to
was
that
it.
quote. But yes, but that today is the present. It's a gift, and to really know that we are on this earth such a short time, and it's just having gratitude in that, and what can we do today to make an impact on the world around us, no matter how great or how small.
Oh my gosh, I love it. I've been having so much fun talking with my friend Missy Kelly. She is the co-founder and CEO of Cat Tongue Grips. And more importantly, I think she is the founder of Born for Impact. I'm Deb Creer, and until next time, everyone have a great day.
Tune in for our next program for even more trends, best practices, and techniques for how to make your business a success. The Business Power Hour, hosted by Deb Creer, is proud to be part of the C-Suite Network.